Welcome, oh, it doesn't say. Hold on. I gotta wait for the counter to go. Welcome, everyone, to the Everything Show. I am your host, Matrix Lord 212, and I'm with Chris. What's up, Chris?
What is up, everybody?
All right. So, what are we going to talk about first?
All right. So, I want to preface this with we can't go too far into this. And what we're talking about is there is an alleged, I don't want to say plot leak, but plot detail breakdown of the next Monsterverse movie, Godzilla and Kong, The New Empire. This came out a couple of days ago on another channel. I'm not going to mention the channel's name because, the video is gone. Legendary and Warner Brothers, I believe it was Warner Brothers, had the video taken down.
And they're suing him, right?
I don't know about that. I know that the video was just taken down.
All right.
Again, take all this with a grain of salt. We can't confirm that this is real, but it's looking like this is probably the case. Now, we're not going to go into all the detail.
Right. We don't want to get sued.
Video. Yeah, we don't want to get in any trouble or anything.
We don't need any legal battles, yeah.
Yeah, I can say this, that if you really want to know, the details are out there. I've seen them online, written in text. Other people have videos on YouTube, as far as I know, that are talking about it. So if you want to know, go see that. The two things I will say are, and again, this is your spoiler warning. So if you don't want to know anything about Godzilla and Kong, The New Empire, stop watching now. Okay. There is another enemy Titan in the movie other than the Red Kong that we saw in the teaser trailer that's already been officially released by Legendary and Warner Brothers. This new Titan has been seen in the past. If you've played or watched the Call of Duty Godzilla vs. Kong event that happened a few months ago, this Titan, a cave painting of the Titan, was an Easter egg in the game, and it shows it's a cave painting of Godzilla that we've seen 100 times, basically fighting this white lizard-like Titan with like crystals on its back. Right. Allegedly, again, I can't say for sure. None of us can say for sure. Allegedly, that Titan's name is Shimu, and apparently it has ice powers. It can freeze things on a very, very large scale. That's all I'll say about that. And allegedly, this Titan is potentially a major part of the Titan origin in the Monsterverse.
Right.
Again, that's all I'll say about that. So again, there are two main enemies. The Red Kong is the main enemy, the main villain of the movie, and this other Titan, allegedly named Shimu, is the other Titan that is the enemy in the movie, or one of the enemies.
And two main heroes, Godzilla and Kong.
And of course, Godzilla and Kong are the main heroes.
Okay.
I have seen and read. I've seen the video. I've read the plot details. In my opinion, this movie sounds really good. It sounds like a combination of Godzilla vs. Kong and Godzilla King of the Monsters, tone-wise. Right. Okay. More so Godzilla vs. Kong because Adam Wingard, of course, is returning. He was the director of Godzilla vs. Kong. He's also directing Godzilla and Kong, The New Empire. I think this sounds really good. And I'm going to be honest with you. It goes beyond anything I thought we were going to see in this movie.
Right.
It's crazy. What
so this has the potential to do better than Godzilla.
Yeah. Allegedly, there was a test screening where all this stuff came from. And from what I've heard, the test screening reaction was very positive. Right. Now, again, that doesn't mean much. You always hear about test screenings being positive and then the movie comes out, or negative and the movie comes out and it's the exact opposite. But I think that this could be really cool. So, again, we have that coming out right now, March, I believe, 15th, 2024. Right. So that is...
What about the potential deal on the table with the future of the Monsterverse? More Godzilla movies, more Kong movies, more joint ventures?
Yeah, we got a lot of stuff coming up, actually. Today, they just revealed the trailer for the anime Kong Skull Island show, which is canon to the Monsterverse. That's coming out in June 22nd.
Okay.
So that is like the first step into like the next phase of the Monsterverse. Right. That takes place before Kong Skull Island, so it's a very early point in the Monsterverse. And that looks really good. It looks fantastic.
Okay.
The same people that did the Castlevania anime are doing this show, and I know that Castlevania anime was very well received.
Yes.
Next, after that, we have what has now been revealed to be the Monarch TV show on Apple TV Plus. The title of that is apparently Monarch: Legacy of Monsters, and that sounds phenomenal because the showrunner basically came out and was like, hey, anybody who doesn't think that Godzilla is going to be in this show, you're wrong. He's in the show. Now, he's not in every episode, but he's in the show. He's in it, apparently. And apparently there's a bunch of other Titans that are in it too.
Wow.
So now, again, going by what KDM, a very, very accurate source on Instagram, is saying, this show may have already been greenlit for a second season.
Oh, that's interesting.
So
we're gonna potentially have Godzilla fight other Titans in the show.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. The show takes place like a day after Godzilla 2014.
Oh wow.
Yeah. There are scenes in, if you guys remember, or if you remember the end of Godzilla 2014 when Ford, Elle, and their son Sam are in the baseball stadium after Godzilla kills the Mutos. That's apparently where the movie picks up. It's not with them, it's with other characters that are there, that have survived San Francisco. So the show follows people in Monarch and people related to people that work for Monarch, kind of unraveling the mystery of Monarch, and then Monarch following Godzilla and, allegedly other Titans too. They said that there's new and old Titans in this movie. So
we have the Monarch. Well, the first thing is what Skull Island?
The Kong Skull Island anime. Yeah.
Kong Skull Island on Netflix?
Yep.
Okay, and then we got the Monarch
Legacy of Monsters. Yep.
On, what is it, Apple?
Apple TV Plus. Yep.
Okay. Then we got, so we have that's the American aspect, the Monsterverse, but there is also the Toho aspect, right? The home of Godzilla, Japan, right?
Yeah.
So while this is going on, when is their Godzilla movie coming out?
November 3rd.
Okay, so we're gonna get Skull Island, animated, and Monarch, and then we're gonna get Toho's Godzilla Japan movie, right?
Yep.
And then we come back to the Monsterverse and we get Godzilla and Kong New Empire.
Yep.
All right.
There is one thing that we are also getting, that it's not related to the Monsterverse, it's not related to Godzilla, but also on Netflix sometime this year, Gamera Rebirth.
Oh!
Another animated thing. The trailer came out. Dude, let me tell you something. This Gamera trailer may be the best thing that's ever happened to Gamera.
Jesus.
This trailer was... Gamera is a savage in this trailer.
So why don't you describe to the audience that don't know Gamera like we do, who Gamera is?
Gamera it was another Japanese company's way of competing with Godzilla. Gamera is a giant turtle that has the ability to fly by basically going into his shell and spinning around with flames coming out of the bottom of his shell, out of like the ports where his arms and legs would be. He can also glide by putting his head out, and his arms can kind of like turn into like fins and stuff. He can fire fireballs from his mouth. He's a great monster. He's always portrayed as a hero, more so than Godzilla.
Always. Right.
He's very, very intelligent, very cognizant of humans, specifically children.
And one of the biggest things that fans have wanted was the two companies to come together and have Godzilla fight Gamera, because Gamera is the only person that Godzilla that's huge like Godzilla that has never fought Godzilla. So everybody has been craving somehow for a crossover Godzilla versus Gamera. And it's never happened. I thought it happened when I was a kid, but I was probably dreaming it or whatever. But it's never happened.
Yeah.
So unless it's a Mandela effect we don't know about. But whatever.
Gamera Rebirth is it's an animated series. It's a short series, and basically literally the description of the show is like it follows these kids that throughout their summer vacation in Japan, 5 monsters attack Tokyo and some point in Japan, somewhere in Japan, and basically Gamera shows up to stop them. That's literally what, and I think that's more than enough for a show like that. The Gamera design is amazing. It's my favorite Gamera design.
Now, are there going to be toys of this, or like for Gamera? But what about the Godzilla stuff? Is it going to be?
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh yeah. That mainly probably for Godzilla and Kong: The New Empire, but I Playmates did the toy line, the main toy line for Godzilla versus Kong, and from what I understand, they made a good amount of money off of that.
Wow.
That thing sold apparently like crazy. So I would not be surprised if in February of next year the shelves in like Walmart and Target are flooded with Godzilla, Kong.
Oh, I can't wait to see that
stuff like that.
I can't wait to see that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Gamera also has stuff too. They've got new monsters out there. Well, they're not really new monsters. They're redesigned.
He has his old monsters that he fights too.
Right? Yeah.
Okay, so from Godzilla, from Kong, any other huge franchise news that we could talk about?
Yeah. Sticking with the monster stuff specifically, you'll probably know what I mean when I say this, but the Slusho website has been reactivated. That means Cloverfield 2 marketing has begun.
Oh, because J.J. Abrams ain't doing anything else. Pretty much.
I don't know.
So now he's actually okay. So let's do a little timeline of this, right? So the story was, hypothetically speaking, right, that J.J. Abrams took his son to what? Japan? Was it Japan?
Yeah, I believe to promote the Mission Impossible movie that he directed.
Oh, okay. And he saw all this Godzilla stuff and he got excited, right?
Yep.
So he decided, hey, I want to do my own Godzilla stuff, American style, my own creature, my own thing.
Yep.
He did Cloverfield.
Yes.
And then, correct me if I'm wrong, he always often had other projects lined up, right?
Yep.
He really wanted to get the Twilight Zone under his belt.
Yep.
And he didn't get it. So he got grimy about that, and he did something totally unexpected and twisted the whole concept of Cloverfield being a monster with a series of movies to turning it that the name Cloverfield was like a Twilight Zone-esque thing, right?
Yeah, yep.
And he started saying he's going to have Cloverfield 2, Cloverfield 3, Cloverfield 4, Cloverfield 5, and he listed all these things he was going to have for movies, right? Now, he put out the second one was the one with John Goodman, correct?
The second one was 10 Cloverfield Lane.
Right. Okay. And that was like people that didn't really know this, like we knew this, so they didn't know what the hell was going on.
Right.
So he switched it to make it like a Twilight Zone thing because he lost it.
Right.
And it did do good, right? I think
10 Cloverfield Lane was received well. I don't know how much money it made, but it was
right.
I like that movie. I think it's better than Cloverfield, to be honest with you.
And then the third movie was that space movie,
The Cloverfield Paradox.
Right, where
the Cloverfield Paradox was basically it was supposed to be the center point of this anthology of stories that all revolved around the name Cloverfield. So in the movie, for anybody who hasn't seen it, in the movie, it's very complicated. And it's one of the reasons why I think they're going back to square one with just Cloverfield.
Right.
In the movie, the story is that in a parallel universe, there is a version of the Earth just like ours, but it's running out of energy resources.
Right.
And basically, so imagine like people lining up for gas and basically power outages because they're trying to conserve energy, stuff like that, right? The problem is that now countries are threatening to go to war with each other over the last resources on Earth for energy and oil and stuff like that, right? Fossil fuels, that whole thing.
Right.
So a company called Tegruado, which is a major part of the viral marketing for Cloverfield, says, listen, we have a solution. we have a space station orbiting the Earth called the Cloverfield Station. There's your Cloverfield thing for this movie.
Right.
And on board the Cloverfield Station is this thing called the Shepard Particle Accelerator. And allegedly, what this thing can do, if it works, is it could provide a clean, renewable energy source that could be used for the whole planet, right?
Right.
So they send astronauts and scientists up there to do it. They test the Shepard Particle Accelerator a few times. The first time they tested in the movie, it fails, and it causes a massive, massive, massive malfunction.
Right. Now, they thought that they accidentally destroyed the Earth by incinerating it with this, figuring it's a huge microscope, like a huge thing, and Earth is like on the slide, and it just boom, like they can't find the Earth. They didn't know where it was, right? They freaking out that they just destroyed their home planet.
Right, completely. Yeah.
But it turns out they placed themselves in a parallel universe, correct?
Right. And in this parallel universe, the Earth was like on the other side of the station. So they didn't bother to look because they're like, well, how did that happen?
Right. And because, again, it's the opposite.
Right. And in this parallel universe, the Cloverfield Station has crashed onto the Earth, and countries have already gone to war over the resources, right?
Right.
So long story.
And there was also somebody that existed that didn't exist.
Right. There was somebody on that version of the Shepard particle or of the Cloverfield Station that got dragged into their version, and they become the villain because they want this version of the particle accelerator and blah, blah, blah.
It got very confusing very fast.
This is, I mean, I hate to say this, but this is the thing. The whole movie is pointless except for the fact that the main purpose of the movie is that the Shepard particle accelerator failing when they first tested in the movie is what's causing every single Cloverfield movie to happen. And the reason is that the event that happens in the main universe of the Cloverfield Paradox movie is affecting every universe around it.
Correct. It's in other words, it's like seeping into each universe like a fucking plague, going straight towards the universe, into each universe, like duplicating.
Right.
And some universes it's more powerful, I guess.
Right.
In some universes it's not, maybe a little more. But then we got the most confusing thing ever at the end is that Clover creature was in the sky, right?
So this is where things get really confusing, right? Clover in Cloverfield, the 2008 film, was confirmed by J.J. Abrams to not be an alien.
Right.
Clover was a naturally occurring creature on the Earth.
Correct.
That was awoken by Tegurado and followed one of their oil tankers to New York after destroying the oil station that they built above it. Right? Then the Cloverfield Paradox comes out. And like Matrix Lord just said, allegedly, what is now the story is that Clover is a being from another universe that got dragged into this other universe. But here's the problem. In the first Cloverfield, Clover was confirmed to be a baby.
Right.
And it was suffering from separation anxiety from its mother.
Right.
So it wasn't necessarily attacking the city. It just didn't know what the hell was going on.
Right.
Which is why, if you watch Cloverfield again, anytime Clover is on screen, he's not roaring, he's screaming because he's terrified. He doesn't know what's happening.
Correct.
Right? Now again, that movie is a separate universe.
But so the first Clover, didn't he die?
Yes. Clover,
okay, so
J.J. Abrams said that Clover was killed by the Operation Hammer Down protocol.
Right.
And that's how the government was able to.
So now they're trying to say that not only is Clover an alternate universe's, parallel universe's creature.
Right.
But are they trying to say that because of the Clover field paradox that he's a time traveling?
Allegedly, like if we're supposed to read into this the way that J.J. Abrams wants to,
God.
Allegedly, Clover has been dragged from another universe and is now existing in 2 parallel universes at the same time. One in Cloverfield, where he's a baby, and then one at the end of the Cloverfield paradox, where he's an adult.
But where's the mother of...
Exactly.
Okay, so...
That's why people asked J.J. Abrams, hey, J.J., was the Cloverfield monster at the end of the Cloverfield paradox, was that Clover's mother? Because she's 15,000 feet tall.
He has no idea because he's a hack.
He forgot.
Okay. He doesn't know. He's winging it. Now, let's expand the story.
Yeah.
So, it gets worse because this whole... Okay, let's just put it this. Let's just be frank, all right? My personal opinion, J.J. Abrams was a fucking child baby because he's so grimy that, all right, J.J. Abrams cannot have Twilight Zone. I'll do my own. So the 4th fucking film, right, originally was...
Overlord.
Right, originally.
Yeah.
And then the 5th movie was going to be with Daisy Ridley, right?
Well, okay, so as it turns out, at some point, Overlord again became disconnected, and apparently was
totally said we're not going to connect you to Cloverfield because we're going to fuck ourselves.
The 4th/5th movie was gonna. You're right. It was gonna allegedly have Daisy Ridley in it, and in the viral marketing, at least, it had something to do with like a road somewhere in the Middle East. And allegedly, what the movie was going to be about was Daisy Ridley and her boyfriend are traveling down this road. They get into a car accident. The boyfriend dies. Daisy Ridley lives. She goes on to live a full life. She's about to die when she's like 80, 90 years old. And I guess she dies. And when she gets to the afterlife, she's given a choice about whether to pass on or like completely pass on or go back in time and stop the car accident that killed her boyfriend. That's all I ever heard about it. That
right. Now we don't know,
but yeah.
do we have any confirmation that was ever filmed?
No, it was not.
Okay. So parallel to this, all right, Daisy Ridley was in the Star Wars movies, right? Force Awakens. She was in the fucking Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, of course, the fans didn't take to it. She was struggling to get roles, correct?
Yeah.
Her career was kind of going in the toilet because of people rebelling against her Star Wars thing. This thing obviously didn't happen either. And I think she had to do voiceover roles to have work for gaming, right? Or stuff like that because people wasn't hiring her for anything, right? But yet now she's going to be back in Star Wars because she's like, hey, you know.
Yeah.
But then J.J. Abrams had all these weird deals going on, right? He had a thing with Marvel Comics, and he was going to try to do a thing with Spider-Man, and his son wrote it. That thing got severely delayed, and then people got annoyed with it because they're like, I'm not going to wait a year for these issues or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. That didn't go over very well. It killed Mary Jane off right away, but then she lived, and then Peter Parker died, and then it was like a whole different thing. So, or whatever happened. So then he got a deal with, I guess, Warner Brothers, right? Where we got tons of money for Bad Robot.
Yep.
And he just didn't do anything, right? He's just sitting, didn't do anything. And they're like, they got bought by another company. They're like, well, what are you going to make for us? What are you going to do?
I don't think they got bought. I think they just made like a deal to work together.
Right, but he didn't, like, he's getting all this money. He didn't do anything.
Well, so, he was working on The Rise of Skywalker.
But, like, he still didn't do anything he was supposed to do for them anyway. He was just like... But besides that, he was always promising a Star Trek 4 because he was doing that, if you remember.
Yep.
And then the things got convoluted because then Quentin Tarantino threw his name into the hat, and they're like, oh, my God, he's going to do a movie for us. Absolutely. Back and forth, back and forth. The thing just totally got screwed up. Then they fired Chris Pine. And they said we could do a movie without Chris Pine. Then nobody decided to do the movie, period. Then everything got canceled. Now they're trying to do a Star Trek again because I guess they're trying to jump off the popularity of Picard season 3 that was the most phenomenal thing Star Trek has ever seen in so many fucking decades. But anyway, so now where is J.J. Abrams now?
Well, I guess he's producing this this Cloverfield movie, and
so now Cloverfield is no longer Twilight Zone-esque thing again. It's going back to what it was originally supposed to be.
Right.
Is Clover the monster?
Right. So what I understand is that apparently this is a main sequel to the 2008 Cloverfield movie. It's gonna have the monster in it, or at least a member of that species in it.
But the Cloverfield, all that thing doesn't exist anymore.
Huh?
That other Twilight Zone-esque Cloverfield thing is not canon anymore.
As far as I know, I can't really answer that specifically because they've been pretty vague about it. I'm gonna assume that it's not gonna get mentioned. But I don't know. I have no idea. All I know is that apparently it's not a found footage movie. It's gonna be a regular film.
Thank God.
Yeah. Which is good because then I think now we can actually see what Clover can do.
Right.
I think maybe he could be a little more impressive.
And this will probably be the best thing from J.J. Abrams because this is his thing. So he's not doing anybody else's property.
And to be honest, monster movies seem to be one of the things now.
Right.
A lot.
Everything else is failing right now. The superhero movies are starting to tank.
Right. Right. So monster. I mean, look, you've also got another thing that we forgot to mention is that you've got the Meg 2 coming out this year.
The what?
The Meg, the Trench.
Yeah. Well,
that is basically turned into a kaiju movie. So I mean,
right. Yeah.
And you can make the argument that it already was.
Right.
But that's another thing. The first Meg movie did phenomenal at the box office for whatever reason.
Yeah, for whatever reason.
I mean, that it did phenomenal. So monster movies are one of those things that could become super popular.
That's going to be the trend for the next 2 years, right?
Right. Probably. And again, a lot of this goes back to Godzilla 2014. Ever since that came out, Godzilla has not stopped, Kong hasn't stopped, and now we're seeing a bunch of other things.
And now we're seeing also, just to switch gears if I can, right?
Yeah.
The superhero movies. Now, some people are saying there's superhero fatigue. I say otherwise because I just think that Disney got so big that they're putting out shit now.
Yeah.
Because they think they can and they don't care. We heard that the Echo series was so fucking bad that they had to reshoot the whole fucking thing. And then for some reason, he's just releasing the whole thing the same day, which goes to show that they don't believe in the product at all. And they don't want to lose money. So they're like, all right, here it is. And there it is. The whole thing. Don't worry about it. They're probably not going to promote it right anyway. So it's just going to be on Disney Plus as content. But nobody's going to give a shit about it. And then we have the Jonathan Majors problem.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's address this because I think that Disney doesn't understand though from a fan's perspective, right? Say me, right? I feel right now that the whole entire Marvel slate of movies is in jeopardy, right? Because they're trying to bank on everything connected to Kang in the future. And you don't know what the fuck you're going to do with Kang now because the actor has allegedly done some crimes, right? So, but the problem with that is that they were building this as the multiverse saga, right?
Right.
But they didn't promote Kang at all in anything other than Ant-Man 3. And they still didn't, right?
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Did you see Ant-Man Quantumania?
I'm actually going to see it tomorrow.
Okay.
I know pretty much what happened.
I need your reaction when you watch it because
you're gonna get it tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay. I finally saw Black Panther, by the way.
Yeah.
And I thought that they butchered fucking Namor forever. That he can never, ever, ever be on a superhero lunchbox, pretty much.
No, Joe. Remember, it's Namor.
Namor.
It's not Namor anymore. It's Namor.
Kluka. They butchered his origin. He's no longer a fucking. He was born in the 1500s. Don't get me started. But anyway, he's a back. We know that Namor was a dick, but now he's a fucking backstabbing son of a bitch, and you constantly can't fucking stand the fucker. But yet he's gonna be in the Avengers. I don't know. But whatever. You lost me there. But anyway, I did like the movie actually, the Black Panther Forever.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah. And Guardians, I'm gonna see. I have to see Ant-Man first.
Guardians Volume 3 was good. I just recently saw it. It was pretty good.
I have to see Ant-Man, of course, first before I see Guardians. But my opinion is, and I'm kind of worried if they switch stuff around for Loki season 2 because of Jonathan Majors.
Mm-hmm.
I have a feeling that they're going to say something that all the Kangs are going to look different because of something Loki does.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of like,
well, allegedly they just did some kind of hush-hush reshoots.
Right.
So who knows?
Well, but let me ask you a question now here. Let's just say the trial is finished and he's found innocent.
Uh-huh.
Totally innocent. Let's just say, hypothetically.
Yeah.
It was all bullshit.
Sure.
His career's still done.
I don't know. I don't think Marvel would get rid of him at that point.
They won't.
No, I don't think so.
So basically, we're all waiting.
Yes.
For this trial to be finished, right? So in other words, they put something in there, but they won't if he's found innocent, they won't do anything with it.
Well, yeah, because there's conflicting rumors right now, and apparently it's either, again, this is just apparently what rumors say, is that either Marvel has a plan to recast him, or they haven't said anything about it.
I honestly just think that they probably added something to Loki.
Probably.
I think what they're gonna do is they're gonna show different Kangs that doesn't look like him.
Yeah. Which I mean, they already have precedent for that. So I mean,
because the problem with that, so they made it that every single Kang looks like him at the end, right? But then they're probably gonna do something that there are Kangs that are not connected to the Council of Kang, I guess.
Well, allegedly, again, I don't know how true this is, so take this with a grain of salt, but apparently there was going to be a twist in either Ironheart or Armor Wars that the little boy that Tony Stark helped in Iron Man 3 is a Kang variant.
So now they could be different genders, they could be different races, they could
they could always be anything. That's again, if they need to recast him, I think that's the way to do it,
So that he could be Iron Lad, in other words, you're saying like that?
Oh, yeah, and apparently they were planning to introduce him soon. Yeah.
Wow. Well, I just, to me, I have two major problems with the future of the Marvel movies. One, of course, is Spider-Man. You know that Spider-Man is my favorite thing known to man, and I really want to handle it right, and I have a feeling it's not going to be. Because I kind of feel like, yes, we want Spider-Man by himself, but don't start. You can't go from like what they left us off with Thanos and then spells and multiverse and then all of a sudden he's just gonna have a gang war mobster thing. You can't do that.
Right.
That's like B-movie, low budget Spider-Man. Like he needs to have a status quo. Where is he working? Is he working for the Daily Bugle? Is the Daily Bugle an internet thing on this earth with J. Jonah Jameson? Is it a newspaper? Is he doing a side gig, like extension of the Daily Bugle?
I think you're going to get all of that in the next movie.
Is he going to work for the Daily Bugle? Is there going to just have no Avengers, no anybody? Is it going to be like the Hobgoblin? Are we going to be introduced to Norman Osborn in this universe? Are we going to have like
there's an interesting thing about that. Are you ready for? You're not going to be happy about this. I have a feeling. You ready?
Shit. God.
There was. I think this came from a pretty reliable source, if I remember. I saw it on Den of Nerds, and they had mentioned that allegedly what they're going to say is there is no Oscorp in the main MCU.
Oh. Wow.
At least right now.
Well, here's the problem with that, right? It's kind of fucking compromised now because if he's destined to be best friends with Harry Osborn and be connected with that, now he's totally not going to be, because fucking Norman Osborn on Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man universe killed his fucking Aunt May. So if he encounters anybody with Osborn, he's going to fucking stand clear from that shit, obviously, because he knows that that's going to be his greatest foe here. So he's probably just going to know, hey, if I just avoid this, maybe this won't even happen.
Right.
He's not going to be friends with Harry. He's not going to, because he heard a little bits and pieces that my best friend tried to kill me, different thing. So he's going to be like, you know what? I'm not even going to fucking, if I don't do it, nothing's going to happen here. So then it's never going to work. Obviously, he's never going to be friends with Harry. Never going to be any of that stuff, because he's going to avoid it.
Right.
And then I heard something stupid. I don't know if it's true, that they said, hey, because it's a multiverse, let's just throw Aunt May from another universe into his universe, and she be his Aunt May here until she goes back, which is stupid. I don't know if that's true. I heard that they offered Marissa Tomei money. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I doubt they're going to do that, but I don't know.
And I heard that probably the reason that happens is connected with that fucking movie they're doing.
Which one? The Madam Web one?
Yeah, I heard that that's connected with that because of that. Like, whatever they're doing, traveling or whatever, and then she ends up here.
Well, allegedly, this next Spider-Verse movie, the animated one coming out next month.
Yeah.
That apparently has some connections to the main story, to like the MCU.
Well, they mentioned Tom Holland's universe, MCU.
Yeah.
And they also go to Venom's universe.
They do, yeah, apparently. Also, you're gonna get a kick out of this. I don't know if you heard about any of this, but my girlfriend and I went to go see Guardians Volume 3 a couple of days ago, right?
Okay.
And in the theater that we went to, they had a thing promoting their like app or whatever, like their membership or something. And they had a board that had posters of all the movies that are coming out this year, right? So I'm looking at this board and I'm like, oh, okay, there's, Guardians, there's Transformers, Rise of the Beast, there's this, that. You know what they had at the bottom? Kraven the Hunter.
Oh, fuck. I heard about that one.
So now, did you hear about the test footage that they showed?
I heard it's like rated R, blood and gore.
Yeah.
Like, so didn't we?
Do you know that he's like an animal rights activist in this movie?
He was supposed to be, because we were talking how they were going to be like, oh, I can't wear real fur, I can't kill creatures. So how is that going to be blood and gore if you can't kill creatures?
He's killing poachers.
So he's the Punisher So now he's the Punisher in the fucking jungle now.
Dude, allegedly he bites off some dude's nose. Full stop. And do you know who the villain of the movie is?
Don't.
It's Rhino.
Ah.
But listen, apparently, I'm sorry. Apparently in the trailer, it ends with the dude injecting himself with some kind of thing, and it says his hand turns into a rhino's foot.
Oh, fuck that. Are you serious?
I'm being 100% serious.
So he's the Rhino, but he's not actually in a suit.
He's like a Rhino man. It's not like Rhino.
Oh,
my like Rhino.
God.
Dude, I can't, man. Whoever is doing this at Sony knows what they're doing, and they're trying to destroy it.
And this is connected with now. Michael Keaton's done now, or no? With this,
I'm assuming it's in the Venom Morbius universe. Yeah.
So Morbius is the same universe as Venom.
I mean, he mentions Venom.
Right.
So, I mean...
Fuck me. Shit.
But I gotta tell you, though, like, this Madam Web thing sounds crazy, too. It's like Spider-Man Terminator.
It's Terminator and Charlie's Angels.
Yeah.
Right? They're all women, like, working for this fucking... Instead of Charlie, it's Madam Web, and go save Peter Parker from fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger's Terminator. I'm sorry. Whatever.
Before he's born.
They're a fucking bunch of idiots. They're a bunch of fucking idiots.
You want to know what the crazy thing I heard? I don't know how true this is, but again, it could be so, but take it with a grain of salt. Allegedly, the Peter Parker that they're trying to protect in Madam Web may or may not become the main Spider-Man for Sony.
Oh, and they're gonna have a newer Spider-Man?
Yeah.
Instead of Tom Holland?
Yeah. One that Sony will use as their main character.
Oh, because they don't like it that he wants to take vacations and shit?
No, just because they want their own Spider-Man.
So that Tom Holland will be Disney's?
I guess the idea that they have is, hey, there can be multiple Spider-Man at once because, hey, multiverse.
And they're gonna connect that to the Black Cat movie got canceled.
Right.
But they're gonna connect that to all this other bullshit that they're doing.
I would imagine that what they're trying to say is that this is gonna be the Spider-Man that connects all of this stuff together. Jesus if this Christ. Is true, I don't know,
So in other words, besides making Tom Holland movies, they'll do these Spider-Man movies at the same time.
Right, yeah.
Without Marvel's, okay. So in this case, without Disney's involvement.
Right. So Sony can basically, and again, Sony calls the shots with Spider-Man anyway, but they can take Correct. This movie and be like, well, this is our, this is what we want to do.
This is our thing, yeah. We're going to do whatever we want.
Okay. Right. Now, my thing about that is, like, why don't you just make The Amazing Spider-Man 3?
Yeah, or Tobey Maguire do another one. Like, I don't understand. Like,
because you could say that Venom happened in that universe.
After he said that, he started not pulling his punches and he started being very vicious. I envisioned them doing a fucking deep ass movie where Kraven the Hunter buries him and shit. I mean, that would have been fucking great.
Oh yeah.
Right, Andrew Garfield, that would have been fucking great. And then probably the fucking Mary Jane, if they introduce, or Black Cat has to get him out of it, like the romance side of it, like that would be fucking excellent. Like it'd be like a prequel. I mean, we heard about it in No Way Home, but we could see that movie. I want to see that movie.
Yeah, they could have had the duality of like him, like you just said, like being really vicious, right? And then you have Black Cat, who's almost encouraging him to be like that. And right. Then you have Mary Jane that's like, no, stop, like.
Right.
And then eventually he decides on his own, like, hey, I don't want to be like that. My uncle wouldn't want to be like that.
I think another thing, too, is that I honestly think that Spider-Man screwed up at the end of No Way Home because I think that they went back and they're alive. And because they're alive, there's incursions. Because right. or maybe they can't go back to their universe. So Doc Ock would be in Andrew Garfield's universe. And then, like, say, Jamie Foxx would be in, you know what I'm saying? In Tobey Maguire's, because they're dead. So were they going to just show up in the present? And what decides where they go? Like, is there some type of monitoring time keepers like they would have it? Or is it just, they just pop in? They can't just pop in because then the timeline would change, right? If Norman Osborn lived at the end of 1, then 2 wouldn't happen with Doc Ock, right? So either they go back to Toby's present time or they go to a different universe, right? So things get
allegedly they went back in the present time, so it doesn't ruin
fuck up the past.
But here's the problem. Here's the thing, right? And you kind of alluded to this already. If we're playing by Sony's rules, for whatever damn reason, Michael Keaton got took out of his normal universe and put into a totally random universe for no reason whatsoever.
With an awareness
of what happened.
And that the spell he didn't erase his memory who Spider-Man is, correct?
Now that doesn't make sense because the spell that did that was what was fixing what caused the issue in the first place. So
unless he was pulled out of the timeline before being interacted with the spell, because the spell does not carry over to other universes.
Well, apparently, according to Sony, it does.
Wait,
according to Sony, the spell that they did to fix it brought him to the universe with Venom and Morbius.
No. But what I'm saying is the spell can't go to Toby's universe and make everyone forget that he's Peter.
Oh, no, not that part. No.
No. So, okay, so now when the villains go back, does Doc Ock remember that Peter Parker's Spider-Man?
Allegedly.
And Norman, they all do.
Yeah, they may not remember Tom Holland's Spider-Man, but they know.
Right.
They know
Peter Parker's Spider-Man.
Their universe, yeah.
Because he doesn't have jurisdiction over different universes, his spells. It's only governed by the universe he's in, technically.
Well, he's not supposed to, but according to Sony, he does.
But then if you're in space, you don't get affected by the spell either.
To be honest with you, I don't know. I would imagine.
We don't know. We don't fucking know. I mean, this is just. And supposedly Wanda is immune to it because she was in the Hex, right?
Well, I mean, Wanda would be immune to it just because she's so powerful. Like, I doubt that, you know.
So she could technically show up in New York City and be like, why doesn't anybody remember your Spider-Man?
I would imagine so, yeah.
And thinking she's a good guy again, and she'd be like, well, who's doing this shit? Because how can nobody know this? Right?
I'll be very honest with you. I don't think they know what to do with Wanda anymore.
Well, they fucked shit up, really. I mean, here's the thing, right? They're trying to make it that she's evil in Doctor Strange because of Darkhold. Right. But then they totally didn't watch WandaVision.
No.
So they had no idea what happened in it. So they think, right, they're reading the cliff notes like, oh, the kids are the most important thing in her life, forgetting about Vision, which she fucking couldn't live without, that she took his soul from the body and gave him a new construct body without his memories. I mean, you just forgot the whole fucking concept of Wanda being the love of her life, bringing him back to life, right? So now you left that out of the movie, so that's fucked, right?
Yeah, she mentioned him in one sentence.
But that's saying like they didn't see WandaVision, so they didn't know anything about it other than the kids.
I still can't, like, there's part of me that really hopes that was a joke, but I know it wasn't.
Right, but it's not. But the other thing is that how do I? She also did that. First, you were trying to make it that she did the Hex, WandaVision. Then you try to make it like Agatha was behind it all. But then at the end, you're like, well, no, it was Wanda doing it all, right? Because you're kind of confused, like, well, wait a minute. Because if Wanda did that and enslave all those people, she's evil, kind of, right? Mm-hmm. But it wasn't the Darkhold at all. Like, it had nothing to do with her doing that originally, right?
This is why I don't like WandaVision, because I
love WandaVision. See, that's the whole point.
That show ended legitimately with them being like, Wanda, you did this, but you know what? It's okay. It's like, it's not okay.
But they should have explained it that Agatha was always in the background when she's going crazy and Vision died, and that she's just manipulating shit, pushing her to do the Hex in the first place.
Right.
Because that makes more sense. Because
that's why I always said I think the show would have been better if it was Wanda and Vision each episode slowly realizing that something is not right.
They could still do that in Agatha, though.
No, Agatha is going to be something totally out there. It's.
I heard she's a good guy at the end of it.
Yeah, because they're casting villains to fight her.
And I heard Scarlet Witch is in it.
Oh, I mean, allegedly.
And she's good, too.
Maybe.
But then I heard that they're going to do a twist that Quicksilver really is Quicksilver from another universe.
To be honest with you, I don't know.
That Agatha saved the kids from getting erased?
The main thing that I've heard is that allegedly it's going to, I don't know if this is going to be an Agatha or not, but they're going to say that a variant of Kang rewrote the Darkhold to fuck with Wanda's head.
Wait, okay, so now fucking Kang the Conqueror is powerful enough to make spells like now he's magic?
I guess
that's fucked up.
My speculation here is this. I guess Kang learned about the Scarlet Witch and was like, okay, so she's in every universe because she's a Nexus being. I have to find a way to get rid of her so she's her own worst enemy. So if I write the Darkhold or rewrite it and make her think like, oh, well, I'm supposed to take over the multiverse, then the Avengers will stop her and then I don't have to worry about her. That's what I'm guessing. That seems like a very Kang thing to do.
See, they're trying to make Kang more than what he is. Like, yes, he's a huge part of different things, but he has nothing to do with magic, nothing to do with spells. It's supposed to be time travel, like just time, not like this other bullshit. Now they're trying to make it that he can control the Infinity Gauntlet, make it work or not work. It's not supposed to be any of that.
Well, yeah, but this is the thing, though, right? We have to make the next villain bigger than Thanos. So how do you do that? You do things like this.
But okay, here's the thing, right? We got robbed of the one thing we always wanted to see is her go against the mutants, fuck them up, and say no more mutants. Now we're not going to see that, but we could have saw that. We could have saw all the Avengers go against her. She would have been the villain.
We can't. We couldn't do that because fucking I don't know what Sam Raimi would have done. Could you imagine? Like, what if he gets in there and he's like, you know what? She cuts off Steve Rogers' head. Like, I don't want to see that.
She didn't even watch WandaVision either, and the writer didn't watch it either.
Right.
And then they're almost done with it, and someone said to them, "Oh, you know that Vision's the biggest." They're like, "Why didn't you tell us? Like before we're almost done with the movie."
Yeah.
They're like, "But that was your homework assignment. You're supposed to." They're like, "We have homework. We have to do that." This is the problem. Okay, we agreed from the very beginning, right, Chris? Don't force the fans. Don't make these movies like work, right?
Right.
Don't force the fans that they have to watch each thing in a row, because what's going to happen is you're going to get fans that are going to get turned off by it. Mm-hmm. They're not going to maybe like Ms. Marvel. They're not going to maybe like She-Hulk. Now they're being forced to watch shit they don't want to watch because the movies won't make sense because they're too connected, right?
Right.
And this is what happened. People said, okay, I'm going to give an example. People like me. I don't fucking like Ms. Marvel. I don't fucking want to watch Ms. Marvel. I didn't watch Ms. Marvel, right?
Right.
I'm not thrilled with She-Hulk. I didn't watch She-Hulk. Whatever. Right now I watched Moon Knight. I watched the different things. But so the directors feel the same way. They're like, well, since when do we ever do a movie where someone's telling us we have to watch this before this? I'm fucking Sam Raimi. I don't need to do that shit. And this writer, I'm whatever. What could possibly be so big that I need to watch this? Then they fucking make the movie, and somebody shows it to them, and they're like, fuck. Because they didn't listen.
Right.
And fans are like, well, you bunch of fucking idiots. Now you got Elizabeth Olsen talking out, and everybody else talking out that they fucked up. Flat out. They're admitting to it. They fucked up. We fucked up. Shit. The fans are mad. We didn't even mention the Vision. It's like, oh, fuck it. Well, you know what? Let's fix it. Vision Quest. Is that going to fix it? I don't know.
I doubt it.
I mean, come on now. You know, and then this is another thing I have, right? If you have no story for Falcon as Captain America, don't do the fucking movie just to do the movie, right? Is it a Hulk movie, or is it a Hulk movie, or is it a?
Yeah, they have a story. Did you hear the rumor about what the real title of the movie is?
New World Order?
No. Apparently, it's getting retitled.
What's it called? Serpent Society?
Captain America Gamma War.
Oh, that's just fucking terrific.
Yeah.
Because we can't make our own Hulk movie because we're not allowed to. So we're just going to... See, this is bullshit, honestly. Just the same thing like Thunderbolts. You don't need to make the movie, period, yet. It's not ready for Thunderbolts yet.
Did you hear what the plot of Gamma War or New World Order is? Because it leads into the Thunderbolts.
All I know is that Harrison Ford is taking over for...
He's Thunderbolt Ross now. Yeah.
No, but he's taking over for William Roth.
Yeah.
What's his name? Right?
I don't remember his name, but yeah.
He died. The actor died, and he's going to be the Red Hulk, correct?
Yes. Yep.
And he's the president of the United States, by the way, too, right?
And the leader is apparently
the leader. So, like, this is like that story where Superman is fighting, and he's trying to find out who the foe was, and he finds out that the foe was the Joker, and he's like, "Well, why did you mess with me?" He's like, "Oh, because I never fought you before, and I got tired of Batman." I'm like, "What?" So, like, these are all Hulk-related stuff. Like, this is why, this is the problem. If anybody's Disney's watching this, they made fun of you on Saturday Night Live, where they said that Disney could put out for Marvel a movie called Shopping Cart the Movie, and you will promote it and you will sell it, and it's going to get that ridiculous where you're just going to put everything out and then shit's going to start sucking, right? You're going to put too much shit out, right, Chris? So,
yeah.
Even fucking Scarlett Johansson, who married fucking Colin Jost on Saturday Night Live, but before they got married, she was on Saturday Night Live. They were making fun of shit, right? Like a Black Widow movie before the Black Widow movie. And the Black Widow movie probably shouldn't have fucking happened, right?
Not too late. No.
Too little, too late, right? So you need to, first of all, they shouldn't have made a Marvel film. Captain Marvel 2, no. That's like fucking forced because you're like mixing now Ms. Marvel with fucking Monica Rambeau, and you're trying to do this whole female fucking movie, and now the villain is what, a transgender woman or something too, or whatever the hell it is.
Honestly, I have no idea.
Whatever, and it's just like now you're doing some weird shit. Now makes no sense how you're promoting now, right? Secret Invasion, where Nick Fury's like looks like 1,000 years old with his eye back, and then he looks exactly the same on Marvels. How the fuck did that happen?
Oh, dude, there's apparently a crazy fucking twist in Secret Invasion that one of the main Avengers has been a fucking Skrull the whole time. Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
Black Widow?
No.
Hulk?
Do you want me to tell you who it might be?
Don't tell me Hawkeye.
No.
Who?
All right, potential spoilers for Secret Invasion, so stop watching now. All right, take this with a grain of salt, right? You remember in Civil War?
Yeah.
You remember when War Machine got shot out of the sky and he fell?
Yeah, he could walk.
Allegedly, that may or may not have been a Skrull. or he was a Skrull from that point on.
So in other words, the real Rhodey can't walk because there's no technology that can make him walk again, right?
He can't walk or he's dead.
So then how did Tony Stark think he's okay?
Skrull.
So where is the real Rhodey?
Either he's somewhere or he's dead.
So the whole thing behind that's why his last movie is that he's a Skrull in going into Armor Wars?
Allegedly. Again, I don't know if I believe that yet, but let me tell you something. If he turns out to be a Skrull in this show, I'm going to be pissed.
That's so... But what about Nick Fury? He doesn't look anything like he does in Marvels.
Because that may or may not be a Skrull.
Nick Fury might be a Skrull too?
Yeah.
That Nick Fury.
I think they just confirmed that the Nick Fury that we see get dusted in Infinity War, that wasn't Nick Fury.
That was a Skrull.
I'm pretty sure they just confirmed that Nick Fury has been on the sword base the whole time. Don't
looking for Thanos.
But I remember
looking for Thanos though.
They said.
But what? Looking for Thanos or looking for some type of alien threat? Is that what it was?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he was looking for anything in particular, but apparently that may or may not have been Nick Fury at the end of Infinity War,
and it wasn't him in Age of Ultron either, because he cut the fucking toast, right, or whatever the fuck it was.
That I don't know, but I remember hearing somewhere that they were going to say that the Nick Fury in Infinity War was not him; it was a Skrull.
That in Spider-Man it was a Skrull.
Secret Invasion as well, but I don't know for sure.
Oh fuck me! What is this shit?
Look, this is the thing. It all boils down to this: the MCU has blown its top. It has become far too complicated for the general audience and even people like us. It needs to go back to being simple and focus on making each movie as good as possible and not worrying about what the next one is.
And you see, I'm already rebelling because, again, like my kids don't understand why.
Right.
But I'm like, when I collected my comics, I collected what I wanted. If there was some bullshit that I want to get, I didn't get. But when you tell someone they have to, then you don't want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
You have to watch Ms. Marvel so you can watch She-Hulk. I don't want to, right? And then I don't know if it's because of COVID or whatever happened that we locked down that we couldn't see shit. But now it's like I don't go see shit right away, and it's like,
oh no.
I mean, the last thing that got me into the theaters to see Spider-Man No Way Home, but there's not been one movie that I fucking ran to see.
Well, this is the thing. I noticed this a little while ago. I don't know if I talked to you about it, but the movies that I've really liked this year have not been parts of like major franchises, with the exception of John Wick.
Right.
And that may be my favorite movie of the year so far.
Wow.
Everything else that I liked 65. I hated Ant-Man. I thought that was one of the worst things that Marvel's ever put out.
Right. Which I'll watch that tomorrow. But yeah.
I haven't.
Or tonight. Maybe I'll watch it tonight. I don't know.
Yeah. But I got to tell you too, if you want to switch gears for a bit, we got Transformers: Rise of the Beasts coming out. And for those of you who don't watch this show, I'm a big Transformers fan. It's one of my top 5 fandoms.
I like Transformers too, yeah.
I gotta tell you, like this next one, I just don't care.
Right.
They
fucked it.
They put the Maximals and the Terracons and
Well, it's like how I feel about Turtles, right?
Oh, that like next one looks like a fucking
What the fuck are they doing, right? Like, I don't understand. Look, I get it that the creators split for whatever reason, and you don't have the complete vision of how the Turtles are supposed to be. But even though, right, because one feels it should have went this way, one feels it should this way. They used to be on the same page. Then one sold his part, the other one went commercial, right? But you got Seth Rogen doing it, and of course you're doing it woke, right? Where I mean, April O'Neil that I remember was a fucking television reporter, right?
Yeah.
And she was white, and not that she has to be white, but like she totally different looking than what they have now, right? This is the trend now. They're like, oh, it doesn't matter what it does, because like Peter Pan, you have Captain Hook, which is evil white guy, and then Peter Pan is not.
But the trailer is just not funny. It's not funny. It's not entertaining. It's just annoying.
I don't get it.
I don't know. Look.
So what was the villain in Turtles? Shredder?
I don't know. They didn't show them in the trailer.
And he's like, oh, when did they never be teenagers? Because they were always teenagers growing up, right?
Well,
so what are you trying to show now different that they didn't show before? Growing up?
In this version, they seem more like young adults than teenagers. Like they seem like they're more like 11 or 12. Honestly,
and it just like kids.
Yeah.
And just brotherly, not that they're turtles.
Have you seen the trailer?
I saw the last shit that they put out. I was like,
It's not. I've seen it a bunch of times. Oh, that was another thing. We went to see Dungeons and Dragons. That's where I saw it. I like that too. That was good.
Oh, okay, good. I heard it was good.
Again, it's. I mean, obviously, the movie I'm most excited for is whatever this Toho Godzilla movie is this year. But I'm biased. But again, going back to Transformers, they've got the Maximals, they've got the Predacon, or one Predacon, they've got the Terracons, and then they've got Unicron in this movie. And we've got the producers of the movie going around being like, well, this is a prequel to the 2007 film. It's like, how the hell is that possible? That doesn't make sense.
So, but didn't they okay, I never saw Bumblebee. Right?
Bumblebee was okay.
But didn't they reset the universe with Bumblebee?
That's what they were supposed to do, yeah. And then this is a direct sequel to Bumblebee. And it's supposed to be the first in a new trilogy. But then the producer, I think it was Lorenzo de Bonaventura, came out, and he was like, well, Optimus Prime in this movie is not the way you remember him in 2007. But by the end of this movie, you'll recognize him as that version of Optimus. And it's like, but wait, how?
Right.
That doesn't make sense. You've got Unicron in this movie in space, and in the last movie, you said he was part of the Earth.
I don't even think they saw. This is the problem. They're not doing their homework either.
No.
Just like when somebody takes over a comic book, they don't fucking read what was 5 issues before.
Not to mention that the projections for this movie, the opening, are really, really bad. So if this comes out,
just like Little Mermaid's gonna fucking tank too, right?
Potentially, but if this comes out and doesn't do well, what do?
They have to scrap the whole fucking plan.
They have to completely undo everything.
Don't they then have to scrap the whole G.I. Joe plan because Snake Eyes tanked?
Well, yeah, that they just said, hey, we're not doing any more of these, at least right now.
For now.
But with this Transformers thing, they have a plan to do 2 more movies.
Oh, come on.
Because this is supposed to be, like they said, it's the sequel to Bumblebee, and it's going to be a trilogy.
This has nothing to do with Michael Bay, right?
I think he's producing it, but how involved he is in that, I don't know.
And I wanted to ask you this question. Well, this statement.
Yeah.
You saw Arnold Schwarzenegger came out, and well, first of all, James Cameron came out and kind of knocked Arnold Schwarzenegger, saying that the movie failed because he put an old Arnold Schwarzenegger in it, which is bullshit.
Linda Hamilton, yeah.
That's bullshit. Well, that first of all, it's bullshit about that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just the story sucked. But Arnold Schwarzenegger comes out and he's like, "Oh yeah, the last Terminator movies were terrible, but it's a job, right? So don't do it. If you know it's shit and it's the greatest movie ever, you're lying because you know it sucks. So don't fucking film it then, right? You're so fucking rich, right? And I'm never doing Terminator again. If he wants to
do it for the money, God bless him. You know, like, hey.
I mean, like, this is what kills me is like, they're so rich, they don't need to do another movie. But of course, they have this mentality that money's going to run out, which look at The Rock. How is money going to run out the way he made money, right?
Mm.
So, okay. I mean, because he was the most highest paid actor, right?
Yeah.
Dwayne Johnson?
He might still be.
Like,
I don't know.
I mean, he's so fucking rich. Like, even if he lost half his fortune, right? It's ridiculous.
But he's also got a back door too. If he ever needed to, he could go back to the WWE. You know?
He can.
Yeah.
But also too, didn't they just all that shit now they mended fences with fucking Fast Furious?
From what I've heard, yes. Apparently that's
See what kind of shit fucking payday was that they all fucking were paid to make up. And now he's in the movie again. See how fucked up that is?
Yeah.
So the only bullshit now surrounding his name is Black Adam now.
Yeah, and that's gonna go away.
Is it?
Yeah.
How?
He's just not gonna be involved in it.
Well, that's not really it going away unless they make a deal where he just shows up.
No.
We don't even know. Here's the thing, too. This is what sucks. We have no idea what the fuck this new DC universe is, right? Because you have some fucking people like, if Margot Robbie becomes Sue Storm, she's still fucking gonna be, I mean, wait. I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah.
How? Like, and then they're like, Gal Gadot's still Wonder Woman, but not Henry Cavill because he sucks. I mean, well, wait a minute, James Gunn, what the fuck, right?
Well, that's the thing. I mean, I still think it's an interesting move for the first thing to come out in this universe is allegedly Creature Commandos.
That's stupid. That's the stupidest fucking thing you could do.
I guess Blue Beetle is technically the first thing if you don't count the Flash, but
Blue Beetle's not part of the new universe. It's part of the old universe.
Yes, it
is. The new universe?
It is. Yes, it is.
Oh.
They said it's
really?
It's technically the first official movie in the DCU.
Oh, God, no. Is it really?
From what I understand, the Flash is supposed to start all of this off, and then Blue Beetle's the first movie, and then Creature Commandos is like the first thing.
But he stays the Flash, right, Ezra Miller?
I don't know.
They don't have a thing where all of a sudden he becomes Grant Gustin or some shit.
It's not going to be Grant Gustin, but allegedly this movie might end with the Flash being in some other universe.
Oh, a different universe entirely compared to what the main DC is?
Potentially.
Oh. But Ezra Miller is still going to be the Flash.
I doubt it.
You doubt it?
I doubt it.
Why?
Because I don't think this guy's going to respond well to whatever they're doing. But that's just me.
I thought they were fucking paying for every fucking therapist there was.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean it's going to work.
And every fucking... And they said, listen, do this and we'll give you fucking... tons of fucking money.
I hope it works. I hope he comes out a totally new person. But or they come out a totally new person. But the problem is, if I'm David Zaslav, great. They got the help that they needed. I ain't hiring them. I'm getting somebody else.
But the point is, they feel that this movie is going to make them more money than any movie they had in a fucking long time. They're going to pay for every fucking way. If they could clone his motherfucking ass, they would clone
it. It may very well do that, but here's the problem, right? Okay, let's say that happens, and then you go, oh, we're going to do the Flash 2, and then they start doing this shit again.
Well, because first of all, first thing you do is you take the fucking altar and the shrine out of his fucking house. And stop thinking you're Jesus Christ, right? Or whatever fuck he had. Didn't he have like actors worshiping him or some shit?
They had people like that were worshiping him.
Fucking weird. Right. So just fuck him. Like, just he needs a fucking smack in the goddamn face and just.
Yeah, you know what that smack is? You're not working for us anymore.
See, the thing is, they're going to handle this differently than Marvel Disney is going to handle it because they haven't had a hit. Where Marvel's had hits with Disney, they haven't had one in a long fucking time. So they're not going to fire him like Marvel's firing Jonathan Majors possibly. They're going to do the total opposite. They're going to fucking try to refix this guy.
Oh, they're going to try to fix them, but at the same time, I think they're also going to take a hard look at this and be like, yeah, we need somebody else too.
They're not going to say that if the movie, I'm telling you right now, this movie makes $1.6 billion. They will not say that.
Look,
I'm telling you.
I understand what you're saying. I totally get it. But you also have to remember that if the investors say we don't want this person in our movie, they're not going to do it.
But you have to also understand, too, since COVID, there hasn't been a fucking blockbuster. Don't count Avatar. I'm talking like there hasn't been a fucking movie that made tons of money like that after COVID. And the moment that happens, it opens the floodgates that everything is possible again because people got too comfortable staying home rather than go to the movies. But the moment this movie makes $1.6 billion, let's just say, you are going to, I'm telling you right now, you are going to see like never before. They are going to fucking do shit with Ezra Miller, fix him in his personal life.
Let me ask you this, right? So do they bring back Michael Keaton?
You give Michael Keaton a movie, yeah.
No, they're not doing that. James Gunn already said they are not doing that.
That's
they are doing a completely different Batman.
But there is no set. They're doing multiple universes with Batman already.
No,
you have fucking Robert Pattinson's Batman still happening.
Right, but those are the only two. David Zaslav even said we're not having 3 Batman.
That's stupid. That's stupid.
And they would have 1 if the Batman didn't do as well.
Let me tell you something. The concept of the multiverse is there. That's fucking dumb. People would understand that this is Michael Keaton's universe, this is Robert Pattinson's universe, and this is fucking Ben Affleck's universe.
You got to remember, though, who did they put in charge of this?
James Gunn.
And what did he say? This is my universe.
But yet Peacemaker's still around.
Yeah, because he made that.
and it's part of the old DC universe.
No, it's not. It's part of the DCU now.
Oh, for Christ's sake!
That's why people are getting on his case, because they're like, "Oh, so you kept your thing,
but that's fucked up."
On the other thing,
that's fucked up.
Basically, he was like, "Yeah, pretty much."
But he basically has Jason Momoa as Aquaman at the end of Peacemaker, and fucking Ezra Miller as the Flash, and you assume it's Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman. Everybody except for fucking Henry Cavill, right?
Right. All of that stuff is going to be altered by, I guess, whatever happens in the Flash, and then Jason Momoa is not playing Aquaman apparently anymore after this next movie.
Well, this movie I heard fucking sucks.
Yeah. And
like totally sucks.
He wasn't happy, and then he did that. Did you see that thing where he made that video where he came out of like the DC office and he was so happy because apparently they did something with him, and a lot of people think that he's been cast as Lobo.
So you don't give a fuck that Aquaman's going to tank? He's just going to be Lobo.
No, there were rumors that Zaslav was going to cancel that too.
Aquaman 2.
Yeah,
they should.
They're not going to now, but
are they reshooting it?
No, I think they did what they could. I think they did some reshoots, but not like they didn't do the whole movie over.
They still have Amber Heard in it.
Yeah.
Okay. So what was this deal that he got? He's happy now. He's going to be Aquaman again, or what?
No. Allegedly, he's going to be Lobo.
Oh, he's going to be.
Allegedly.
That's what he wanted, though.
He wanted to do something other than Aquaman.
Right.
Because he wasn't happy with the way it was going. The story.
Well, but we've had Chris Evans as Human Torch.
Right. Yeah. He can play
and Captain America. Right.
Again, this is a totally separate universe. So we are going to see things that are totally.
I mean, look at the Flash fucking TV series.
Right.
The guy that played fucking what's his name? Kavanaugh. Right.
I don't know. I didn't watch the show.
No, but he played a million different fucking characters, right? He played Reverse Flash. He did Harrison Wells. Right? Like ridiculous. Like you need a scorecard to see who the fuck he is, right?
Yeah.
So like, see that's the one thing. If you're gonna do the multiverse, right? You can't confuse the shit out of people, though. Like
they're not doing a multiverse though.
Okay.
They're doing the DCU. This is one single.
But okay, here's the thing, right? I understand what you're saying, but you still have multiple universes out there.
Yeah, but
the Joker is not the same universe as Robert Pattinson's Batman.
But again, they're labeling anything that's not the DCU as DC Elseworlds. So it doesn't matter.
So if it doesn't matter, what's the big deal of having Michael Keaton do a Batman by itself if it doesn't matter?
Because they don't want multiple Batman. They said that themselves. The Batman in The Brave and the Bold, whoever that is going to be the main prime Batman. Robert Pattinson's Batman only exists because the Batman came out before they started planning the DCU, as far as we know. And they said, listen, that is going to get a sequel no matter what. So
in other words, the only thing that could exist is he could have 2 or 3 movies, Robert Pattinson as Batman.
Right. But it's understood that that in no way connects to the DCU and never will.
Same thing like the Joker, right? If this second Joker does $1 billion.
These things, well, yeah, like you just said, the Joker, and the Batman did very well. And they existed before the DCU started from a thing. If those movies did not do well, or they were not planned before this, they would have been pruned from the branch in 10 seconds.
Pruned like the TVA, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That term? Right. Yeah. So in other words, if Shazam 2 did phenomenal,
then he would have been in the DCU.
Shazam 3 would have been happening.
Yep.
Okay.
And it would have been a DCU property. Yeah.
But they're done, supposedly.
Oh, yeah.
And Blue Beetle is just...
Blue Beetle's in. Blue Beetle is a DCU thing, apparently.
Okay. And they're still going with Batman Has a Son, or Batman Has a...
in Brave and the Bold. Yep. The Brave and the Bold.
That's fucking terrible. I don't know. I don't. Maybe I'm wrong, but...
Well, this is the thing, right? that Superman movie, Superman Legacy, that has to be phenomenal. It has.
Correct. We discussed this.
Yeah.
See, here's the issue, right? Supposedly, just like how we were shaped, right? Growing up, like it had a profound effect on me, Christopher Reeve's Superman, right? It had a profound effect on James Gunn, so much so where he decided, he was going into superhero movies probably because of that, right? Just like I'm sci-fi with Doctor Who and everything.
Yeah.
So like, he's gonna do his Superman movie as close to Christopher Reeve's Superman as possible, but with the current things you should see in a superhero movie, I guess.
Yeah, right? I think so, yeah.
And he already said, don't think it's like Guardians 4. Like, in other words, he's not going to have it's not going to be revolving around fucking soundtracks and shit like that. It's going to be actual movie.
Yeah.
Like, don't think it, So, but again, he tanks that movie. It's over.
Oh, yeah.
Over.
Because what do you do? What do you do? You can't reboot it again.
See, I was kind of look. Not that I'm a Marvel guy, right? Yeah. And there was some, and you know that. And yes, I do like DC some stuff, but I'm not a DC fan. I'll watch it, but I kind of felt that you had a whole universe established already. Why don't you work with what you have?
Right.
Like you shouldn't have. You shouldn't. Look, let's just face it. It's an ego thing, right? I'm in charge of DC. I'm going to do my whole entire thing differently. Listen, there's no need for that, okay? That's like someone stepping into Disney right now and say, we're going to have a new Iron Man. We're going to have a new Hulk. Fuck everything that's been. Let's just restart it. You can't do that.
Right.
The Marvel's so established that people will flat out tell you to go fuck yourself, and they won't watch it, right? Because this is why I'm saying that this is going to be a problem with the Kang thing too. But let's not get off track from Marvel. I'll talk about that later on. That you should have Tony Stark come back and everything else. But anyway, fucking you fucking keep what works, right? And if it didn't work, you make it work. You had Henry Cavill as Superman. You know what? You do a movie, Henry Cavill, Superman movie, right?
Yep.
And then you do Ben Affleck. See, this is why I never understood why Warner Brothers is such a bunch of assholes, right? You give people what they want, right? They don't want the fucking Justice League and bullshit. You had the Avengers. They weren't even established, and you put them together, right? You put out Man of Steel 2, right? Just put it out, right? No fucking nobody showing up. I don't want to see Bruce Wayne showing up. I don't want to mention anything. I would not have any mention of anything else. Just Superman-centric, right? What does he do with Daily Planet, Lois Lane, their relationship, whatever, right? Maybe Brainiac's the villain, whatever, right? You do a Batman movie, and you don't mention Wonder Woman. You don't mention they had a relationship. You don't mention, like, the Justice League, the Flash. This is just do a goddamn prequel Batman movie, and he's fucking. This is how Robin does. And I don't give a fuck. You get Jared Leto, Joker. I don't care. And you get Harley Quinn in it. And you get whatever. And you do a proper fucking Ben Affleck fucking Batman movie. Correct?
Yeah.
Right?
100%.
Like, you went ahead. This is where the mistake lied, right? You went ahead with The Flash, which is probably going to be good, instead of going ahead with Man of Steel 2. And your bread and butter was Superman and Batman, and before Wonder Woman 2, Wonder Woman, right? And you didn't really go crazy with that. You didn't do another Batman film. You didn't do another Henry Cavill Superman film. And you were kind of fucking around with Wonder Woman 3. So, like, when you said that you excused the last movie because of COVID or whatever streaming thing you did, so you gave her another shot and say, go do a movie, right? But you didn't do that because you fired her. But who knows if her script was shit anyway, Patty Jenkins. But, like, You didn't work with what you had. And you had fucking Henry Cavill as Superman. I thought he was fucking great. But you know what? The writing sucks. So you have him twist fucking Zod's neck. That was a fucking mistake. Right? The key things that they ruined Henry Cavill's Superman, and it's not his fault. You put him in the goddamn fucking room, and he looks on as everybody dies, and he's just like, yeah, that was the worst scene ever. Right? Just like the doctor telling fucking Graham, "Oh, you have cancer. I don't know how to answer you because I'm socially awkward. Sorry." Like you're trying to make him look like a god, Superman, like unstoppable, but you made him like he don't give a fuck that thousands of people just died in front of him. You ruined the whole thing, just like snapping the neck. But like for whatever reason, James Gunn doesn't fucking like Henry Cavill. So there's the ego right there. Doesn't matter what not for nothing. Everybody wanted to see Superman versus Black Adam the moment they put that shit in the theater. Now you fucking fucked all the fans, basically.
Yeah, if just to see Henry Cavill, like Henry Cavill.
But you screwed over every single fan, and even if they're not a fan, they just want to see you screwed them over too, because you falsely lied to everybody. If you're gonna put something in a movie, you go ahead and you fucking continue it. You don't make it like this guy took over, we're not gonna have a film. You obviously want them to see the movie. You put a thing at the end. People are waiting for it. Some people still have no clue that that's not happening. You know that? Yeah. People that don't follow the entertainment thing, they'll be talking like, when is Black Adam gonna fight Superman? They have no fucking idea that that's never gonna fucking happen.
Yep.
You had to do that movie. You had to. Forget about if The Rock, whatever he did. Let me tell you something. We may not agree with The Rock, with his shit, right? With his ego. But that's what fans wanted. Right? Black Adam versus Superman, they wanted that. Fuck everything else, basically, right? And
even just a Henry Cavill movie. Like, if that's
but I'm saying, like, even they didn't want to see fucking Black Adam and fucking Shazam. Who cares? You were gonna have Superman back. It could have been Black Adam versus Superman movie, and that's it. And that's what people were dying for, and they're not gonna get it. They're not gonna get it. And now, you know what's gonna happen now? I'm gonna tell you what's gonna happen now. As much as I love James Gunn, right? He has too much of an ego to realize it right now. He's gonna do his Superman movies. He's like, oh, it's the greatest fucking thing ever. It's not gonna do well because people are angry because you're not listening to your fan base. They don't want a Superman origin story. They don't want a young Superman. Like, you need an anchor, right? So you're making your anchor like fucking 5 years old, right? Superman. So like he's supposed to be the main thing, right? And now you're doing an origin story. They might not like him, and you're gonna have people purposely not see it because it's not Henry Cavill. And then shit's gonna hit the fan. And then next thing you know, James Gunn's gonna be back with Marvel doing a fucking movie. That's what's gonna happen. But what do you say?
No, I don't, if this Superman movie doesn't do well, it's gonna be a problem. That's really all we can say. We don't know anything about it other than the title, the alleged title, and that it's going to be a younger Superman. I think maybe 2 years into being Superman or something like that. I don't know. I know that they're planning on making him the center point of everything in this thing.
But you can't if he's not established. He doesn't understand that, James Gunn. You can't just say this is the guy you're going to like. People have to have something in the past that connects to why they would like him. Like, this is his first movie.
Right.
Now he's the leader of the Justice League and he's 12. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
they're definitely not doing any Justice League things anytime soon.
Well, what I'm saying is you're expecting, you're basically banking that the fans are going to 100% accept your work. And that's not going to happen.
Hey,
But what do you feel? I mean, you loved Henry Cavill, right, or no?
Oh, I listen. I am of the opinion right now that I don't care about the DCU until they impress me, and it's going to be very difficult to do that because if it's not Henry Cavill playing Superman, my interest right now is at a very, very low bar.
I mean, when I think of James Gunn, I think of the word quirky, right? He had stuff that he put out that was like, oh, you look at him like, oh, but I do like this, right?
Yeah.
Right, like Slither, right? And then you'd be like, oh, Scooby Doo, okay, right?
Yeah.
And then Guardians, I loved it, right? So it's like, oh, I like his style, right? But now it's a thing where he really thinks that he could create. It's one thing he was doing his movies for Marvel Disney, right?
Right.
And we were on them to rehire him back, right? That was fucked up, right? That's one thing right? But is he that good to be running an entire universe of films? I don't know about that.
I don't know.
See, I have faith with him with Guardians, and I have faith with him with Marvel and Disney, but you're telling me that
this is to your point, right? With Guardians, I think you can be a bit more like flexible with them because they weren't super established. Not a lot of people knew who they were. So right. you can do what you can be quirky with them, like you said.
Right. But I was a huge Guardians fan when nobody knew what the fuck Guardians was.
Right.
So I was looking forward to this shit. In fact, everybody at Marvel was against him.
Yeah.
Changing up the Guardians, and they were all wrong anyway. But go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, it's all good. Here's the thing. When it comes to superhero movies, it doesn't get bigger than Superman.
Right.
Superman is that guy. Now, you can make the argument that Batman is more popular and stuff, but in many people's eyes, Superman is the superhero, So you gotta make sure that shit works. You gotta make sure you have a good actor, a good story, good special effects, good music, because that is Superman. He is the one superhero who almost anybody on the face of this planet looks at and goes, I know who that is.
Right. I don't think he's going to do it right.
I really hope that he does.
I don't think he's going to do it right.
If he doesn't, then if he doesn't, I don't know, man. I don't know. I would not.
I honestly feel like, look, comparing him and me, like I honestly feel that he's going to try to recreate his childhood with Christopher Reeve Superman, and it's not going to work.
Yeah.
This time period, he's not going to understand that. It's not a film. This is a whole franchise he's building on his Superman thing. It's not going to work. Like I just look. Not that I know what he does, and I've liked what he's done, but I feel he's not ready to take over an entire universe planet. I really don't. And especially since before with his immaturity level, right? He's not realizing what he was fucking tweeting, but I understand he got over that, but it's way too, I'm sorry, he's not ready. If I'm wrong, Chris, I'll admit it, right?
Oh, yeah, we all will. We both will.
But he's not ready, and I am pretty sure it's going to not do well, Superman film. But he's going to learn that, obviously. He's going to learn that what he thinks will work is not necessarily, like, he's not identifying what the fans want. Not that you have to cater to fans, but you kind of don't piss off the fan base too much. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, it's just, and him engaging the fans too. He stopped that now. Good, because
he did. Yeah.
You have to stop that because he's gonna have a heart attack. Literally.
Well, that, and he just might pick up. He just might piss off the fan base,
Or he's gonna get fucking banned again because he's gonna put the wrong tweet out there, and then you're gonna fucking fight people again.
Yeah.
Or whatever. Listen, when a movie's going on, let's say, right, the last thing you want is the fucking main star to start tweeting his weird shit out there and then alienate your fucking movie. Or just like Jonathan Majors having a thing with his girlfriend, not realizing his fucking career, will be affected, right? Now, again, allegedly, we're not saying he did anything wrong. We don't know. But Still, you know. And I still feel that the movies haven't completely recovered since COVID.
Oh no.
I mean, Avatar, okay, that made right profitability, I guess.
Oh yeah.
But that's Avatar. I mean, I didn't. James Cameron always finds a way to, when it comes to the Avatar shit, to make it work. And he's been working on it so many years that if it would have failed, that would have been embarrassing, right?
Oh yeah.
Been delayed for so long that obviously he knows what the fuck he's doing. If only he fucking knew what he was doing with Terminator and actually worked on it himself or wrote it himself or whatever the fuck. But that even now he don't know how to handle that.
Yeah.
He doesn't get it that he built. I know he's getting late, Chris. I'm sorry.
Oh no, you're good. You're good.
He doesn't get it, Chris, to this day, that for decades he built that John Connor was it.
Yeah.
And then he thinks he could just take that away. You brainwashed your fucking fan base that John Connor is the leader of the resistance and they're battling the Terminators and that's it. It's the end all and be all John Connor. Anybody else, he dies, that's it. The resistance is fucked. There's nobody else, right?
Right.
Doesn't get it. Kills them off in the first fucking 5 minutes. And then, oh yeah, anybody could be the leader of the resistance. This woman minority is going to be the leader of resistance because she's a woman and woman features female.
Well, no. What kind of message does it send too if it's like, okay, if we destroy Skynet, another AI will just take its place. If we
they're just going to exist for some reason.
If we kill John Connor, another person will just become the leader of the resistance. So basically what you're saying is it's completely pointless.
Pointless. And it's terrible too. It's terrible.
So let me ask, like, what is the purpose of the struggle in Terminator 2 Judgment Day? It's going to happen anyway. So just let it happen at that point. I mean, I know that's what they're trying to say, but that was the problem with Terminator 3. Judgment Day is inevitable. You only postponed it. Well, what? Dude, that's why, in my opinion, the canon ending to Terminator 2 is the alternate ending where she's sitting in the playground with her granddaughter and John Connor.
What, were you saying when the thing fucking went off?
No, there's an alternate ending to Terminator 2.
Oh, he's a politician.
Yeah.
Right, that they changed the whole history.
That is the canon ending to Terminator 2.
That's the way it should have ended, right?
Yeah. Everything else happens in an alternate timeline.
Well, look,
to me.
I mean, if you use Genesis as an example, not that that's a good example, but you had an assembly line, remember?
Yep.
I guess this was the plan. You had an assembly line of Terminators on a Schwarzenegger, each traveling back in time.
Yep.
One after the other, after the other, after the other, after the other. It looked to me like hundreds, right?
Yep.
So you're basically either creating 100 timelines, right? Which maybe that's the overall plan, or it's the same timeline.
Yep.
But if it's the same timeline, they're not traveling to the same year. They're traveling to different years each. So if one Terminator fucks up, there's going to be a Terminator that shows up after him or before him, right?
Well, that's what they said in Dark Fate, is that Skynet sent the T-1000 and a bunch of T-800s back. The T-1000 was destroyed. It didn't kill him, and so this other T-800 killed him.
Right. And then I guess the Terminator that's in that new one has nothing to do with the technology from the other one because that timeline was erased.
Right.
And I guess he's trying again, I heard.
What, they're trying to make another one?
Yeah.
Oh.
But he's going in the wrong direction again. And he's going to try to do it like they did Chucky reboot. where it's going to be totally different, like AI, but like whatever. It's not going to be like, I don't know. I don't understand how with his creation he doesn't know how to fix it if we know how to fix it.
Well, like, you know what it is. He just doesn't have the bandwidth to put enough time into it because he's so focused on Avatar. So
I don't understand what changed his opinion of the whole John Connor thing. Where was it a battle with Patty Jenkins that she said you can't write female characters? Like, did he go crazy?
No, I don't know if he actually wrote that story. To be honest with you,
he didn't. I don't think.
Yeah, so I don't think it was. I think that they pitched it to him, and he was like, "Yeah, go with that," and then here we are.
How about you write your own shit?
I just don't. Well, again, that goes back to the bandwidth thing. He doesn't have the bandwidth to do it because he's working on Avatar. But my thing is this: I just don't understand this fascination with ruining the icons of movie past. Movie past. I just don't get it.
I don't get it either.
And again, I'm biased, I know, but this is why I appreciate.
Ridley Scott did that shit too, and he fucked that up too.
Well, what I'm saying is this is why I appreciate the Monsterverse because they didn't fuck up Godzilla, or Kong,
But the exception was I did like Prey though.
Prey was yeah.
As a standalone thing, I would think, right? I liked it
a
lot.
Prey is a good example to me of you don't have to make all of this shit super complicated.
Right.
It doesn't have to be this fucking crazy story.
Correct. I enjoyed it a lot. I thought it was a great fucking film, honestly, and I thought it was going to be the worst, but I wound up loving it. But on that sense, I don't think you should do a sequel to that.
No.
I don't want to see what she does next. I don't want to see the whole fucking Predators coming after her or whatever the fuck. You need to go forward. And I don't want to see a planet. Like, I wasn't a fan of that movie. That Predators.
Oh, I liked Predators.
Yeah, I don't like that. So I was like, I kind of just, I don't know. And Aliens, as far as that goes, she's done with that and Ghostbusters, she said. So.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, but they're old. They don't want to do it anymore.
Well, you also got Alien Romulus coming out, and that doesn't sound great to me.
Who the fuck knows what that's Disney? Who the fuck knows what that's going to be?
Yeah.
Jesus. Then I heard a rumor that they're thinking about. I don't know if you could tell me if this is true. Retconning the whole Independence Day thing, where the first movie exists, and then they're going to just do another one with Will Smith, and try to get everybody together.
I mean, at this point, I would just leave it alone. I don't think we need another Independence Day. Resurgence was terrible.
Yeah.
It was really, really bad.
And I'm looking forward to Deadpool 3, that's for sure.
Yeah, that apparently has some crazy shit in it.
Yeah. That looks like the movie that everybody's waiting for.
Yeah.
I mean, are we waiting for Marvels? I'm not.
I'm not interested in
What's
that.
after Marvels, really? I don't even know.
Well, we'll be in 2024, so I think the big movie next year is Captain America.
That sucks. What else? War Machine's a movie, right? Armor Wars is a movie, right?
Yeah.
That sucks. What else?
I don't know, because remember, the writer's strike is going on, so I don't know.
They all suck. They all suck. And the Fantastic Four movie is going to be built around Rama Tut, which is a mistake.
I think that's in 2025.
But that should be Doctor Doom.
Well, really. Allegedly, it's not even Rama Tut.
Oh, it is it?
Galactus.
That's for their first movie. That's a mistake again.
It's going to be
that's
one
like,
of the sequels, apparently.
That's like let's do Spider-Man's first movie and put Carnage in it.
Yeah.
They made a mistake already with Venom that time in Spider-Man 3.
Yeah.
Too soon. Like they had to be established first and then they bump into Galactus.
Yeah.
And are they doing the thing that they were from the 60s?
Apparently, the rumor is that the movie starts in the 60s and then they get teleported to the future or something.
So they were just lost in space, but lost in time.
Yeah.
Because Doctor Strange knew them.
Possibly, yeah.
That's terrible.
I don't know, man. Comic-Con is coming up soon, and apparently Kevin Feige is going to have some big announcements. But I got to be honest with you, though. To me, Marvel is not where it was at one point.
Well, what are the odds? Let me pose this to you.
Yeah.
You know how they canceled Inhumans, and we were glad about that, right? What are the odds they cancel the Avengers films and the whole idea of Kang, and they just go with the X-Men?
I'd say pretty slim. It sounds like
Really?
They're sticking with Kang.
That's disappointing. But Namor is the first mutant because they announced it.
Yeah. Miss Marvel's a mutant too.
She dies in 2 weeks in comic books, in Spider-Man's comic. You know that?
Oh, I didn't know that.
For real. The guy that wrote Marvels wrote the comic, and he kills her off in Spider-Man comic. What does that tell you? And I got to tell you, not for nothing, I'm not trying to dig against the Ms. Marvel fans, but everything she's been in has been canceled over and over and over and over again. Just like Riri Williams, Ironheart, just like fucking Sam Wilson, Captain America, just like all these different things. They tried these young things to take over the icons, and it didn't work, right? Constantly canceled, right? And I'm not talking they just miniseries. I'm talking they're trying to do an ongoing series. Like Spider-Man's been around since 1962, right?
Yeah.
Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And they fucking can't have any staying power. The amount of price that you have to pay for a comic book and to get these people to retain interest, they're not reading it. And it's getting canceled because of low sales. So what they finally did was they killed her off. And people are shocked. How could you do this? And in the Spider-Man comic, no less. Not Amazing Spider-Man. We thought they made it like it was going to be Mary Jane dying, but it's not. It's Ms. Marvel, which you're like, what?
Yeah, Marvel's just in a weird place right now, and I think they really need to just kind of look at everything that they're doing and kind of say, okay, let's condense this a little bit.
The problem is that, again, they were supposed to change Miles Morales' name not to be Spider-Man. The creator, Brian Michael Bendis, before he went to DC, said they were going to change the name. He even did a story where I guess Miles Morales was dying or cured, didn't have no powers or something, right? Before he left. Or he had a virus or something. They were supposed to change it so that way there's one Spider-Man and there's one, because they went crazy. One Hulk, one Iron Man, one Spider-Man, not 50 versions of it. Because you get confused. But they changed it. So then there was, at one point, there was 3. There was Superior Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man, and Miles Morales Spider-Man. And then they got rid of that. That was crazy. But now there's still too many. Like, Miles Morales needs to be a different hero, like not Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Because Spider-Man was established by Peter Parker. I don't care. You can't just use the name. Just like Ben Reilly tries to use the name too. He's Spider-Man. Not. You're not. So, Tony Stark's Iron Man. Nobody else. Bruce Banner's the Hulk. No one else. They tried to do that time with that kid. That was another Hulk. And it got canceled. Canceled. So, anyway, we've been talking about monsters, superheroes in this cast. I really enjoyed the Everything Show tonight.
Me too.
I thank you so much, Chris. I had a great time, and we're gonna get out of here. So, thank you so much, guys. Have a great day, a great night. Take care. Bye for now.
See you guys.